How do you condense this chaos? How do you summarize visual spectacle? How do you advertise a masterpiece? The art of movie posters is an art often unappreciated. It's pure advertisement, after all, not some lofty creative pursuit for you to lay your soul bare for the world. But the movies these posters are advertising are those lofty creative pursuits. Films that can help you question and make sense of the world around you. A good film can change your life. Somewhat surprisingly, a lot of films that are considered masterpieces have pedestrian, bland, even boring movie posters. Take a look at 1972's The Godfather, considered by many to be the greatest film ever made.
The best American movie ever made.
No, it's not.
Why not? I think so.
It's because you're nostalgic for the salad days of the patriarchy.
This is the poster for the greatest film ever made? This black and white copy of the book cover on which the film is based? Looking up the potential value of this poster, you'll see you can pick one up from anywhere from $50 to $350. In contrast, in that same year, a film called Black Frankenstein was released, or Blackenstein. A masterpiece this is not.
No? Why not?
It holds an abysmal 10% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and a lowly 3.4 out of 10 on IMDb. And yet, the poster for this little scene exploitation film goes for over $1,000. Why? Well, just look at it. Alluring, spicy subject matter and a screaming face that is impossible to ignore. This is the modern YouTube thumbnail in 1970s poster form. It's bold, whereas this feels like a book cover, because it was. Advertising a masterpiece is hard. And that's the challenge that Masi Rafani, Executive Vice President of Creative Advertising at Warner Brothers, was up against with Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller, the director of all previous Mad Max films, spent 18 years getting Fury Road into production. It was mired by false starts, natural disasters, and two main stars who could not stand each other. The film had been approved without a screenplay, only 3,000 plus storyboards, and the tenacity of director George Miller. He came back from Namibia with over 400 hours of footage and hastily assembled a rough cut to show Warner Brothers executives. The studio executive who had greenlit Fury Road wasn't even with the studio anymore, and these new execs wanted to see what had been filmed halfway across the world and what had cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So advertising executive Masi Rafani saw that early rough cut, and his initial response to it is chronicled in the amazing oral history Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, the wild and true story of Mad Max Fury Road by author Kyle Buchanan. When they were starting to let some of us executives see George's rough cut, I was a little worried. I mean, 35 years had passed since the original, and he hadn't done anything like this in many, many years. He's a genius, he's lovely, he's all these things, but that's a tall order. So when I saw this rough cut, I could see why some people might have been nervous, because he was still working things out. But then I started getting into it, taking in the visuals, the dust storm sequence, the production design, the costume design, the characters, and I just thought to myself, oh my f***ing God, he's done it. Warner Brothers partnered with multiple creative agencies to get these movie posters made, starting with this double-sided teaser poster from Art Machine. Here we see the desolate wasteland, the iconic V8 Interceptor, and a solitary Max. This is not the desaturated post-apocalyptic world that we have been used to seeing. And this appears to be a new Max. Where is Mel Gibson?
Mad Max? Without Mel Gibson? Forget that. Hashtag not my Max.
Gibson had aged out of the role and wasn't exactly in audience's good graces at the time.
How can you cast Tom Hardy? Then I saw the movie and okay, it's terrific.
Tom Hardy took over the role as Max, but he wasn't a large enough name yet to command a floating head poster, something Gibson had enjoyed the previous decades.
You know, basically going, don't put Mel Gibson's face on the poster because it's not just a Mel Gibson movie.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Okay, little side note, in Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, one of my favorite stories is the fact that on the very last day of shooting in Namibia, George Miller spent over 2 hours getting this bobblehead thing to bobble just right. Also, they filmed a sequence where Tom Hardy gives birth to himself. Release the Max birth cut. For the main double-sided one-sheet, Warner Brothers turned to creative agency Bond. Once again, Tom Hardy's face is barely visible. The main focus and key element of this poster is a new character, Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron. Theron was a bigger name than Hardy at the time, having won an Oscar for 2003's Monster, and her appearance in this poster feels instantly iconic. Mostly drawn from this promotional photo and reminiscent of the character's introduction in the film itself, Furiosa looks out over the horizon with strength and determination in her eyes. When I talk about movie posters like these, I like to use my art score out of 10. Aesthetics, representation, and titillation. All the key hallmarks for an effective movie poster. For aesthetics, we're asking how good is the design? How pleasing is the typography, the visuals, and the overall vibe of the poster? Basically, is it nice to look at? Furiosa and Max are inside the war rig, but we can't even really tell that from this poster. All we can tell is they're in motion, they're in danger, and they're not f***ing around. The colors pop and the lighting on their faces, although unrealistic for being inside a vehicle, still feels motivated by the world around them. My one curiosity when it comes to this design involves the text. A non-serif font with grungy texture on it feels kind of played out by this point, though that doesn't mean it's not effective. In the film itself, the main title appears in this dynamic, metallic chrome lettering. I've always been curious what that would look like on this one sheet, so why don't we give it a try? I'm lining up to get some screenshots here. Here is the poster. Okay, so let's bring that in here. Nice. Okay. I'll leave it up to you whether you think this is an improvement or not. Let me know down in the comments. For aesthetics, I'm giving this poster a 2 out of 3. R is for representation. Does this poster represent the film very well? Does it match the look and feel and the ideas it's presenting? Is there a sense of story? The look on Furiosa's face represents one of the biggest elements of this film. Defiance. It's a rare instance where I'd say a main character looking off-screen really works, because you can sense she's looking past you to some far-off danger. Furiosa is the one in charge, the one with the plan, the one defying everyone in pursuit. For representation, I'm giving this a 3 out of 3. T is for titillation. Does this poster inspire any excitement or intrigue? Does it make us want to go watch the movie? When I first saw this poster, I remember being confused as to who this new character was, but her appearance, her costume, her stare, everything made me want to go see this movie. It just looked badass. Even that title, Fury Road, it's as good as it gets. For titillation, I'm giving this a 3 out of 3. So with a current art score of 8 out of 10, this poster will be welcomed at the gates of Valhalla.
You will ride eternal.
But what about that final point? What did my wife think?
I like Tom Hardy, the look, like it just gives a really good feel for the movie.
You like that he's behind a mask?
I don't know.
He loves wearing masks. So that's a point, you like this one?
I like this one. Yeah, this is a point.
Would you consider shaving that head and putting some grease paint up there for me?
On myself?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Really?
Probably not.
So with a final art score of 9 out of 10, I'm so grateful to have this poster in my collection. And the teaser as well. Good art makes you feel, and this poster makes me feel excited to revisit one of my favorite movie-going experiences. Fury Road is a masterpiece, plain and simple. It grabs you from the very beginning and does not let you go. And it's layered and textured and confusing and disturbing and exciting.
I think the person who said it the best was Matt Stone from South Park. I go, "Did you see Mad Max?" And he goes, "Yes." I go, "What do you think of it?" And he's like, "Going to see it for a third time. I'm wearing a suit."
It was nominated for 10 Oscars, including Best Picture, losing to Spotlight. I'm surprised it's not re-released into theaters every year, because I would go see it every year. I believe any good collection needs to be shared, and in that spirit, I'm going to be giving away the Mondo vinyl soundtrack for Fury Road, with music by Tom Holkelberg or Junkie XL. Check out my Patreon below for your chance to win this incredible record. Well, I hope you're all surviving and thriving on the Fury Road. Consider liking and subscribing. I have a lot of great posters to show you in the future. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I can't wait to show you more. Man, Fury Road, I don't feel worthy of talking about it. It's so good. And I know what they went through to make this movie, driving around, trying not to die. And I'm just sitting here in my office. It's pretty comfy in here. There's carpet, a tasty buble I'm drinking here.
Mediocre.